Hi. I'm just doing this as sort of like another method of record keeping. Though I should actually do more things attached, filming, that sort of thing. It's night and I'm going to have to try an observatory to do the filming on this one. But I was at a hotel getting lunch today, and I ended up in this conversation with a new waitress. And she had just finished university and she likes animals, and we'll talk, and she likes history. And I thought, look, I haven't really made a lot of public records of that, but it's me, Jen, who built World Time after what was there was destroyed in 2007, etc. So the way that sort of started off to the most maximum extent of World Time, I mean, I'd done different things before that. It's not binary. It's not like nothing to everything in one step, But in 2007, there'd been some really dreadful criminals that murdered and tortured a lot of innocent people to death, and they're attempting to falsify rights to themselves, to resources that aren't for them, including that I built. And they destroyed all world time. So that meant that Earth phase shifted away from the sun and from a lot of the healthy effects of the sun. That includes the physics named time. And plants stopped growing. There was no photosynthesis. And there's a lot of dead parallels got stuck like that. Though I'd been on a time jump, this is actually 100% true. I'd been on a time jump and I'd come back, and when someone had told me, I didn't believe that the sun wouldn't come back up. I didn't believe that that's what had happened. And apparently it had happened to them for quite some time at that point in time. And it took me less than 2 hours to fix it, which is a lot of work, and all the physics I've built's my property. I've researched it. I'm not the first person in all of recorded history that's built world time before. Apparently Thor and co did, the movie Thor. And before that, Demeter. But it's only once every sort of handful of thousands of years, right? And it's usually one person, but sometimes there's more than one. With me, it was only one person. Nobody helped me at all, which was tragic. It caused absolute mass destruction. It meant that though I fixed things around, and so they're my property, whatever I built, I used my own material, not whatever was there. But it meant that there could have been, if people had have paid me more, if people had have been helpful to me, there's a lot less suffering that would have occurred all around. There wouldn't be so many dead parallel worlds, though there definitely are now. And so anyway, so what I'd figured out is after I'd done this, because I was doing stuff with Stellar Charts, which is my right, it's from a different jurisdiction, so no jurisdictional right of here onto it at all, right? It's well outside of Earth and not the right of anyone on it, right, to say the very, very least. And what was I going to say? But I was looking at Stellar Charts, and I was looking at how Earth goes in and out of phase shifts where it comes to Stellar Charts. Then I realised, and I can actually film it in observatories, there's probably a lot of things in observatories that should always be well pronounced, that show that with different, an individual can do it, so it doesn't have to shift the whole world, you just have to shift your perception, right? Alright, so I noticed standing on the one thing, I can shift cameras, not only my perception, but filming. It comes up in observatories when Earth is swaying a bit this way or that, which naturally there are a few innocent phase shifts. It's not anything bad. But I tend to think that Earth is in a superposition. It's the way I measure it, across different stellar externals. So as though all these different planets, maybe 5, maybe 10 of them, maybe more, had somehow had ancient evolved civilizations that had created a technology sort of like Stargate, and they all got stuck and merged together somehow, right? And there's heaps and heaps of evidence of that on Earth as well. So, for example, humans, particularly like me, I'm blonde, so I side more with like Atlantis. I don't believe we're all from the same place at all. We're not. I'm from Western Europe, right? And not related to anyone that was ever in Australia biologically. Anyway, so I'm not related to them at all, according to me and according to what the definition of relatedness is. But anyway, so yeah, I think that humans and dinosaurs aren't compatible. I've done a lot of parallel travel myself, and I've noticed that there's other realms where there are dinosaurs and absolutely no humans. There's no livable conditions for humans. And somehow when they merged, there was a separation, and we have some sort of remains of what had merged into here, and now we're here, and there's remains of that, and they're somewhere completely else, right? They're no longer here. They've become extinct here. all right? But that's not the real past of here. It's certainly not the real past of humanity, all right? And I was talking about a big mistake people make where it comes to time and analysing what's happened in the past is they think it's linear, all right? So they think that if they pull up a fossil, then that's the past of here or humanity, and quite frankly it's not, because there's so many different worlds and realms that different things come from that have merged together, that it's actually come from completely different sources, completely different groups, and completely different places, right? That have then merged and become almost indistinguishable, right? And we can measure how much what looks the same as here, because I built everything after it was destroyed. So I had to rebuild it so many times, and I built my own stuff with my own material. It is really, really, really much more than what people understand, right? So if someone just looked at a map of Earth, they're not getting even 5% of the details required to understand how anything works, right? It's so much beyond what people are able to understand, right? But it's not harmful. I mean, some of it's like, who the F was in the past? Because I think it was ancient evolved civilizations. It's definitely man-made. Like, planets don't just do that themselves. It's not some sort of nature that made that occur. It's obviously that it has been occurred by deliberation or accident. You know, whether people were playing with a lot of technology and made an accident, and it merged all these things and turned it into a single kind of identical thing, and they didn't mean to, or whether they meant to do it, or whyever that exists, I don't know. All right, but I'm looking at it, and I know a lot of different, like, groups where I could probably, you know, for my own self, not for someone else, figure out some of the records. But yeah, I just sort of thought, look, it is really important because it's something that has been measured. It's something that, because I have built back a lot of cellular charts, I have made excessively obvious that basically every observatory that was switched on should have been able to see, you know, and I've had to come up with my own explanations, like, why does it work like that? And yet a lot of the time it's me who's built back the stellar charts. Though I can build it back and I can see how to structure it, and I can do that so it's all good and, you know, life is good and healthy. As in innocent, never the murderers or kidnappers. I just don't permit them anywhere on Earth, in the galaxy anywhere. No, only dead or in prison for them. Yeah, so I mean innocent, good, healthy, right, not murderers. Yeah, but I've had to try and figure out, like, why does that work like that? Like, I can make something, and I can make it, including with my own materials, I can get it functioning properly, I can get it so it's properly performing what it's supposed to do. Yet I don't really necessarily know all the details of why, right? And so then I have to try and theorize, like, how did that come about? Like, if I just restructured something, why does that structure exist in the first place? You know, or if I build something with my own materials, why did that first come about? How did that happen? It's like, you know, if I build a part to something, then how did ultimately does that part work more so than just what the eye sees? Like, why? Anyway, so I theorize, and then I say that there's a massive difference between the actual real fact information, all right, which is the stellar chart stuff, that obviously we have fluctuating stars in the sky, which most astronomers cannot understand, including it looks like different stellar charts are overlapping, and they don't understand what the illusion is yet. I can bring it up strongly, so it actually separates one from the other, you know, so it's absolutely undeniable. Does that mean I know why it works like that? Not really. I can theorize. I can go, well, I think the reason why is, right, but I think it's more important that I separate out what something, you know, the reality of something, and what I think of it, what my opinion is, right? So I do that, and I have fun with that, because though something might be a solid thing, you know, my opinion can vary as much as I want it to, so long as it's, you know, ethical. It's not supportive of murderers or kidnappers, you know, but I can vary as much as I want, like, and go, oh, I thought it might be because of this, I thought it might be because of that, I thought it might be because of, you know, anything. But I do want to keep some sort of records about these things, so it is publicised on some level. And then I do heaps more records, and I should make sure I have proper presentations. But even if I just have something, so that there is so that the facts are there, so that the factual information is there. At least it's better that it's there than it not being there, right? And it's better that the public can understand than can't, because it's not a dangerous fact. It is a bit fun and adventurous, but it's not dangerous.